Hi, this is Gia, and you're listening to Stories About You and Me, where we explore the messy journey of self management towards pursuing your goals.
Hello, Ate. We have
Hello,
our
Gia.
we have our favorite English teacher here. How are you feeling today, Ate?
I'm feeling tired. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this podcast lying down
Thank
because
you
I
so
feel
much
like this
for
is what therapy should be.
thank you so much for joining me, Ate. I really love your cozy bed, and we're gonna be starting off with the hot takes.
Okay.
So yung hot takes, this is a segment where the questions will be coming from the audience.
Ooh, nice.
So, let me first start with the question: how do you become motivated again?
Motivated again from just in general being demotivated or being demotivated because of other people's opinions.
Just being demotivated in general.
Ooh, well, for me, it's always nice to reevaluate your plans and your direction. Kasi I noticed na whenever I lack motivation, it's because I don't really know what I'm doing for. So, if I'm feeling demotivated, I have to ask myself, okay, ito ba yung direction na gusto ko puntahan or do I need to reconsider? So, I do a lot of introspective activities, as you know, like journaling, um, planning my life. My gosh, almost siguro very very regular sa akin na mag-reevaluate once a month. I would
Mm-hmm.
literally reevaluate my entire life's direction once a month just because sometimes it feels like things aren't aligned. So when it feels that way, I just check in with myself and my goals and if they still make sense to me given yung constant change in life. And I've found na the more in tune I am with the direction that I'm going to, the more motivated I am as a person.
Yeah. Sobrang helpful din ata na magplano, no? Do you do
Mm-mm.
yung planning monthly or like quarterly?
I do it monthly, quarterly, yearly. As in, I have different types of planning that I like to do as a Virgo. um, for monthly, it's more of like an overview of what's gonna happen, the events, ganyan. Quarterly is more for finance and bigger scale projects. Yearly is more my resolutions and the things that I want to achieve in the year, like setting my milestones and also looking back at how my past year has been and how far I've gone so far.
Yeah. Sobrang effective talaga yung monthly planning. I do that too, ate. That really
Anong
helps me.
nilalagay mo sa monthly planning mo?
Everything. Kailangan kong i-plan out even yung paglabas ko, ate, kasi I have anxiety, diba? Hindi
Pati
mo,
pag social anxiety?
yeah, I have social anxiety. So, hindi mo ako
Oh,
pwedeng, I have GAD din. So, hindi mo ako pwedeng yung
oo.
parang biglaan na, tara, punta tayo sa hindi.
Talaga?
It has to be planned kasi kapag hindi, I might get anxious dun sa mismo. I might run out of the room.
Mm.
So, yun yung mga parang tinetake into consideration ko. So, I do everything na nakaplano. Even yung paglabas. Sometimes.
Talaga? So, like, for example, uy, I'm in your area. Can we grab coffee? Ganon? Hindi pwede yung ganon. Talaga?
I don't go. No, kailangan plan talaga like a week or like after. Basta yung alam ko na wag lang yung biglaan na same day tapos same ayaan, hindi ako pumupunta ate. Like it has to be planned para alam ko. Yung ganun.
Ah, that's so interesting. Kasi I also have GAD. To our listeners who are not familiar with it, it's generalized anxiety disorder. But it doesn't manifest that way like social anxiety wise. It's more sorry, nahulog yung AirPods ko. For me, my GAD manifests more sa control and like lack of control sa decision. So for me, it's very important na I get to decide like what I do, how I do things, yung sa that's why I don't know if you notice sa content ko. I'm very particular about a lot of things, like super a lot of things. So yun. And parang ayoko yung situations na I don't have control. For example, people speaking for me. I hate that. I don't want people to quote me saying something that I didn't really say, or alam mo yun, parang trying to explain what I said, because I don't want any parang nami-misconstrue. So ayun, yun yung mga manifestations ng GAD ko. Plus insomnia, like I can't sleep. Last night I slept at like 4:30 a.m. Oh my gosh.
Ang
Grabe
hirap.
talaga.
Ako,
Ang hirap
ate,
talaga.
I also have insomnia, pero ako naman, kahit anong gamot, hindi gumagana. So I'm like, okay, I
Talaga.
guess. Minsan kapag
Well,
malala yung anxiety ko, wala din gana yung gamot. Doesn't help.
talaga.
Doesn't knock me out.
Ako, nag-help siya. But, pero kasi ongoing yung treatment ko eh. So, it's like a 9-month treatment. So, okay naman siya. Thankfully, it's been helping me. Pero kasi lately, sobra yung work and everything. So, yeah. It's been
Kapag,
hard.
do you get triggers ate pag pagod or kapag ka maraming ginagawa?
I get triggered some notifications.
Ah, okay.
Girl, di mo napansin na I don't read my notifications?
Napansin ko ate, kaya I don't send you messages as much. Like, yung follow-up ko matagal talaga.
Yeah, kasi hindi ako nagbabasa actually ng notifications ko as a person. As in, yeah, that's one of the first things that I delegated when I had my first few freelancing employees. Customer service. I couldn't do it talaga. As in, sobra yung anxiety ko sa dami ng inquiries, dami ng emails. Dinelegate ko talaga siya. So now, even sa sa personal content creation side, yung manager ko talaga lahat. As in, she receives all of my inquiries. She does all my negotiations. I really don't like talking to a lot of people at the same time. Parang for me, it's easier to be like one-on-one, or it's easier for me to go to an event and talk to people who are at the event. Pero kasi with being online, it kind of feels like I'm always, to me, parang an ongoing conversation online is one person talking to me. And if I have like 20 online conversations, it's like I feel like I'm in the middle of the room and I have to answer to 20 different people. So that's why I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah. Ang
I'd
hirap.
rather be like, kita-kits tayo sa gantong time, and then I'll see you and then I'll talk to you. Rather than have an ongoing conversation. Because like, if it's an ongoing conversation, I'm gonna feel like it's happening in person. Yeah. I get so
Kapag
anxious
ano.
about that. Mm-mm.
Ako, I'm okay with notifications. Pero depende din. Kasi minsan may time na parang wala namang negative news. Pero minsan, di ba, parang ang daming problema. So, it depends on the season din, ate.
Talaga? I wish I could do that. I really can't.
Yung sa mga notifications, no?
Kung makikita mo yung notifications ko, as in it's like hundreds. Hundreds on Instagram, hundreds on, like, I can't even open them.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's scary. Ang scary din na maging content creator is that ang dami mo talaga ating kausap and ang dami mong opinion na natatanggap, especially the unsolicited ones. And pag isa lang, it's okay. Pero when you get them in tens, hundreds, that's when it's impactful eh.
Yeah,
kapag marami
that's true.
talaga siya. So, ito ate yung last question from our audience. If you were to name your own song, what would you name it and why?
That's so hard because I don't really... I would, if I were to name my own novel, ganon.
Yes.
Parang, di naman ako songerist. I would call my work of art either Sunkissed Somewhere, which is my old
Vlog.
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That was my old vlog and blog. And probably something else. Pero I would say Sunkissed Somewhere.
It's a cute name, ate. I really like that. Are you gonna bring that blog back?
I'm gonna bring it back in a different way. Yeah.
I think
it's a work in progress.
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna be starting with the questions na ate. The questions that I've compiled for you, and this will be about colorism. Kasi
Ooh.
I think yun talaga yung advocacy mo, ate. So, what was the worst experience that you've had as a kid dahil sa pagiging morena mo?
I think it's a lot of microaggressions. I mean, obviously we have the teasing and the bullying na ano daw, for example, my classmates would be Indones and Malay and I would be Negrito, and obviously they said that as an insult, yung mga ganon. Favoritism in class. It was so glaringly obvious to me how some teachers really complimented lighter skin versus dark skin, how they called it makinis, etc. And just darker skin was treated so much worse in the classroom. So yung mga yun, but also like the lack of opportunities in general. As you know, I'm very much into pageants, etc. And I found it frustrating when I was a kid na we were never given the chance to be mutya. I don't know if
Mm-mm.
you know that. Di ba pagka linggo ng wika or buwan ng wika, may mga mutya sa classrooms. Like I would always be so frustrated because they never gave us a chance, like not even to audition. As in they just picked out the most
Fair skin.
afam looking,
Mm-mm.
yeah, the most Eurocentric featured white skin looking student. And it wasn't even, they didn't even want it. Alam mo yun, like the teachers would just pick them out and then wala silang choice. They would not open it to other people. Now, who here wants to be mutya? Like that to me was just so annoying na the opportunity was never even there. Buti kung, it was a contest or something like that, but it was never a contest. They were just picked out for their looks. And that to me really defined what it is like growing up as a brown skinned girl na talagang you see it when they don't pick you. You see it when you want something and it's not even offered to you. And
Yeah.
you're not even given the opportunity to fight for it. So, yung mga ganun lang.
Ate,
Mas
ate,
wag
have
talaga
you,
magmutya.
ate, have you ever lost an opportunity because of your skin color?
Opportunity. I guess hindi naman kasi ako nag-apply for anything that was specifically, like for example, flight attendant. I've heard many friends who are dark skinned who were asked to come back after they've lightened to apply for the job. Yung mga ganun. Thankfully, wala naman akong ganong experience because, social media ko eh. I upload my own videos. I do my own stuff. I don't need permission from anyone to do those jobs. So, in that regard, wala naman siguro. It's more of microaggressions talaga on my end na you see it if you're the one at the receiving end. Like
Mm-mm.
bullying, teasing, and also yung mga favoritism, ganon.
Ako, ate, I've experienced yung lost opportunities. Di ba, I tried commercial
Ano?
hindi siya lost opportunity.
Yes. Oh, for
Commercial
sure. Yes.
modeling. It's
Mm-hmm.
always open for like half-bloods na mestiza. As in like the ratio na bira ka makakita doon ng morena. It's always like you need to be fair-skinned for this ano. As in sobrang content ng kaya mong pwedeng applyan sa pagiging morena. And also, I'm not sobrang fair-skinned kasi even when you meet me in person. So, how about, ate, your opinion sa more accepting society about morena skin when whitening products are still rampant here?
I think it will take a long time to unlearn what we know so far about skin color and beauty standards. I mean, we have been relegated to, second citizen, that kind of thing, ever since the colonial period pa lang. So for us to be able to unlearn those, it will take generations. So I think it's good na things are getting better and things are getting a lot more accepting, but ultimately I think marami pa rin tayong kailangan gawin to completely change that for the future generations. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully tuloy-tuloy lang. And mas ma-normalize na yung Pinoy beauty. Ganyan.
Ate, I'm curious about this because this became a trend on TikTok. Like, naming conversations
Mhm.
about this. Parang whitening your skin to gain confidence is a manifestation daw of colorism. Can you expound on that? Parang, can you explain that further? Kasi colorism is a
Yeah.
deep, is it preference or is it internalized colorism?
I love how this has been a discussion. At least people are talking about it. But colorism talaga is a byproduct of, whitening. Whitening is a byproduct of colorism for sure, especially given the context that we live in. We live in a society where whitening ads are rampant. Whitening is a billion peso industry. Sobrang daming nabebenta to whiten, and you can't really say na you're completely detached from colorism when in fact ganito yung sistema natin today. However, I think we draw the line rin sa individual preferences when we don't allow people to go through their own um, journeys as kayo mangi skin people. So for example, me, I grew up also wanting to get lighter skin. I thought that I needed to lighten my skin, etc. And at that time, I had no idea of what it meant to be influenced by colorism. I had completely no clue. Alam ko lang I was trying to be a better version of myself. And if somebody had told me na your whitening is a byproduct of colorism, you have internalized colorism, like that's not going to help me embrace my skin color. All that's doing is alienating me from wanting to hear the other side. So that's why I try to emphasize that it's a personal journey to get to that point, to like your skin color. It we have very different journeys. Ako, up until I was in college, I was still trying to lighten my skin. So I can't really judge people and tell people that, oh, you have internalized colorism. I don't think it's my place to do that. Because people are struggling themselves, like they're trying to like themselves. So it's not my place. It's not in anybody's place to be like, to point fingers and say na you're not liking yourself enough, ganyan. Kasi it's a really hard journey. Body image is a really difficult journey. Do we say that about people who are trying to lose weight when they could be trying to be healthy, we really can't tell people's intentions based on what we see online, what we see on surface level. Kasi we're never really gonna have the answers to that. So that's why when people ask me, is it a preference or a byproduct of colorism? It's definitely a byproduct of colorism. But for those people who have that preference, don't keep telling them, don't judge them for having that internalized colorism because it's something that they're also working through. I mean, hindi nga nila mabago yung skin color nila, diba? Hirap nga sila mag-whitening. It is a problem, but instead of blaming the individuals who are suffering from it, we fix the system. We contribute where we can make a difference. And we don't make that difference when we attack the individuals who are dealing with their own body image issues.
Yeah, I love that. Don't alienate them kasi it's not helping talaga ate. Parang kapag ka-pinpoint mo kasi hindi mo gusto yung skin mo, parang it's not
Yeah.
a sign of confidence. Parang you're attacking them personally rather than helping
Yeah.
them out and educating them. When you
Mm-mm.
say it that way, parang in-alienate mo talaga sila. Yung dating, especially kung hindi ka naman yung mismong nagsa-struggle with it.
Oo. Yun nga eh, that's the thing. Like, whenever I see, for example, I mean, gets ko naman they care about colorism, etc. But when like lighter skinned people say na, why don't you like your skin color? Where does that come from? Isn't that colorism? Like, she's dealing with her own body image issues. Let her be.
Yeah. It's
So,
different.
yun.
It's different when someone privileged yung nagsalita kasi. Parang it would
Naloloka
come
ako.
off different. So ate, paano yung how can Morenas unlearn their internalized colorism and how did you personally overcome yours? Yung internalized colorism before?
I don't think there's anything more powerful than education, especially being able to understand colorism from an objective perspective. So to me, my turning point was when I studied colorism in school. So I did it for my thesis, and it really made a difference because I started seeing the issue not as a personal one, but something that's shared by a lot of Kayu Filipinos. And it felt hopeful. I felt hopeful doing that research because I realized that there was something to be done about it. Even though I had moments in my life where I felt hopeless about my skin color and I felt hopeless about my body image, knowing the research behind it and doing my own research on it, it empowered me to reach out and create a community that will empower each other and at the same time know na hindi ako nag-iisa. So, yun talaga, sobrang importante malaman na there are other people like me dealing with the same issue.
Let's talk about naman in the perspective of self-love. So how did you reframe the way you talk to yourself about your insecurities? Halimbawa, with your skin, how did you manage to, kasi the worst critic is yourself din eh, in terms of like how you see yourself. So how did you reframe that?
Number one, I stopped calling my features flaws. So, I don't know if you've heard that, pero I did a TikTok before na parang somebody saying now, what, embrace your flaws. And I'm like, what flaws? Because
Yeah.
my dark skin isn't a flaw. Being Morena isn't a flaw. And a lot of people try to empower using the narrative that you should embrace your flaw. But the thing is, you don't say that to fair skinned people. You're not like, embrace your flaw, embrace your maputi skin, embrace your flaw. Like, no, you don't say that to them. So why would you say that to dark people? Like, having dark skin isn't a flaw, it's a feature. So that being said, I started calling things what they are. And for my flat chest, my round face, my dark skin, they're not flaws. That's just features. They're just features that make me who I am, make me look the way that I look. So yeah, I think it started with that. And then I practiced every day. I practiced not laughing at myself because before I was very self-deprecating na alam mo yun, ang dali kasi insultuhin sarili natin, ang dali mag-joke about our dark skin, about our face, about our weight. Pero once you stop joking about yourself and advocating for yourself, you give people less permission, or you take back the permission to make yourself a joke. And to me, I think it really needs to start from you. You must embrace that authority to get people to treat you the way that you want to be treated. So that's why I don't take shit from anyone. Na if they insult me, if they ganyan, like no, not today. Not this girl. Yeah, I think it's really ownership.
Oh, ate, I can see your Virgo-ness.
Oh yeah. Di talaga
Very
ako
Virgo.
nagpapaano.
So ate, I feel like yun then, when you reframe the way you talk to yourself, you take your power back.
Oh yes, for
Kasi
sure.
you can only select kung ano yung tatanggapin mo and hindi. Power move. So ate, knowing that you'll be one of the in the shorter groups nung nag-join ka naman sa Miss Universe, ano yung mga naging considerations mo for that? Kasi ang hirap na, that people have a lot of things to say, and what really made you join?
Well, I wanted to join because I was finally qualified to. I've always wanted to join, but I never was allowed to. So finally, when I was allowed to by the requirements, I took the plunge and I just joined. I didn't really consider anything at first because I was like, I've been waiting for an opportunity to join for 26 years. So why would I even think about it twice? Like, it was a no-brainer for me. I knew what I wanted. I went for it. And then when I saw the pushback from people, especially pageant fans who were telling me na I was too small to be here, like I didn't look like a beauty queen, that's when I realized that I needed to be here even more because they're not used to people like me. But the thing is, I look very, very common. I have a common Filipina face. I have an average Filipina's height. I'm not even that short. I'm 5'3.5". Alam mo yun? Whenever I enter rooms and I meet people, I'm usually one of the taller ones. And medyo exemption actually yung 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", those are like exceptionally tall for Filipinos. So parang why wouldn't you include an average Filipina in height, 'di ba? So I realized na being there wasn't just for me. I realized that my presence there was also showing people na they need to be more open to different kinds of beauty. Na parang, okay, they are reacting this way because they've never seen anyone like me. They're not used to seeing girls like me on stage. And now they can, and I will. So I was there.
I love that, ate. Actually, ate, the average Filipino height is 4'11" or 4'10". According
Totoo
to
ba?
Business Insider. Yep. Yep. I was looking it up kasi 'di ba sa Tushik I did my research muna. Ay,
Oo.
ni-research ni ate. Nasa Business
Average
Insider.
Filipino height.
4'10" or 4'11"?
It's 10.89 inches for Filipino women. Yeah. Tapos pag guys, it's 5'4".
We're short. We're malays. As in, sobrang maliit lang talaga yung mga Pilipino. And it's hard.
Nakakaloka.
Lalo na kapag nasa
sabi nila.
entertainment industry, hindi ka talaga makaka-penetrate kung hindi ka a femme looking. Wow, a femme looking.
Very, parang, you can, but still, it's very selected. And at the same time, they encourage you to get things done on your face. Like when I
Yeah.
joined, they told me nose job, cheeks, veneers, weight loss, arms, Botox, everything. As in, like, they gave me an entire list of things that I needed to do sa sarili ko in order to be worthy of a crown. And this wasn't the organization, by the way. It was a bunch of individuals who were, quote unquote, well-meaning, but ayun, ang dami nilang gusto pagawa sa akin. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Kasi ang hirap din natin, like, people want the Eurocentric features. Lalo na sa Pilipino. Yun yung
Yeah.
beauty standard pa rin. Or like, actually, like, pag fair-skinned ka talaga, you have a space, pero it's tougher to get somewhere just because of how you look. Lalo na pag nasa entertainment industry, mahirap talaga pag hindi ka pasok dun sa beauty standards. Parang mas maliit yung parang butas ng needle that you have to go through. So,
Yes.
when you joined Miss Universe, your advocacy was to help people feel represented, right? Because like
it was actually like it became my advocacy. It became my advocacy, but it really wasn't like my official one. Because I'm also a teacher, so my advocacy was youth empowerment through education and representation. Pero I guess people just made it my advocacy. As in, hindi ko talaga advocacy or representation or like somebody was saying pa nga na parang natural, ano yan? Natural looks was my
advocacy,
but it wasn't. Like, I'm gonna put on makeup. Are you crazy? Nakakaloka talaga. Some people were saying na, isn't being natural your advocacy? Why do you look like a beauty queen? Parang, what? Like, pala decision kayo dyan. Malamang mag-makeup ako. Malamang I'm gonna get toned muscles. Like, are you kidding me? Sobrang naloka talaga ako sa mga tao na nagde-decision sila for me.
Yeah, ang hirap din ate eh. And like, siguro naging brand mo na din ate. Like, people made it your brand. Di naman yun yung plano mo dapat. So you were planning to push for accessible education at the time?
No, it was not accessible education. It was youth empowerment through education. So like well, I guess like accessible education in that way. Pero more accepting educational environments, avoiding or like going against discrimination in school. So just like the discrimination that I experienced when I was in school. So yung mga ganun stuff, just allowing kids to have an environment in school that will empower them to learn, to stay in school, etc. Pero yun nga, a lot of people thought it was natural beauty.
So, ate, like in terms of confidence naman, how do you think sun-kissed Filipinas who have been exposed to skin lightening ads learn to love and embrace their Morena glow?
I think it's great that now we have social media where people can find sources of inspiration from elsewhere. We don't have to rely on mainstream media anymore. So I think that's one, like find a community that will represent and really empower you. So we have Kayu Club by Morena Label on Facebook if you guys want to check that out. We recently had an event called Kwentong Kayu and it was very, very empowering, like listening to other people's stories and just seeing like a room full of dark-skinned Filipinos. It's really nice. So, ayun lang. I think you just need to find your own source of inspiration and learn to filter what you consume. Because just because you see them on TV, on the internet, doesn't mean that they're real, you know?
I agree. Find your tribe definitely will help you to build your confidence as well. If lalo na kung hindi mo pa alam where to start. Like they will ground you.
Yeah.
This is where you start. So, Ate, what advice can you give to Morena Filipinas to help them unlearn their biases and in turn boost their self-esteem brought about by colorism?
I would say find a role model that represents the kind of person that you want to be. When I was growing up, it was Bianca Gonzalez. I really looked up to her and I really admired how she was so vocal about liking herself, liking her skin color. And I wanted to be like that when I grew up. So I think that's a great place to start. Like find somebody who you can look up to.
Okay. So, Ate, how about naman, this is gonna be our last question. What are the habits that helped you to build your confidence? And ano yung mga advice that you can share with people who have no idea how to build their confidence from scratch?
Mm. I have curated, number one, I've curated my social media following by a lot, as in everyone that I follow or the people that I guess, really watch. They have such positive impacts on me. So if somebody makes you feel bad about yourself, stop watching them. Another thing is, I guess, detach yourself from communities and people that make you feel unworthy. Set your boundaries. If you encounter bullies, know that they're just the same as you, tao lang rin sila, and you shouldn't be intimidated by those people and don't give them the power to make you feel inferior. Um ano pa ba? Practice confidence. Confidence is something that you can continuously cultivate. You should show up to opportunities. If you want to do something as simple as reciting in class, go do that. Do activities that will challenge you, make you feel like you're outside of your comfort zone. But know na the more that you do stuff like that, the more you are able to be that confident self. Because it really isn't something that a lot of us are born with. Some people, I guess, are born with confidence, but me, not so much. I had to learn how to be confident, but learning comes with giving yourself chances to actually learn. So allow yourself na maturuan ng mundo. So just keep doing things, finding opportunities and connecting with people who will support you in that journey.
Okay. Thank you, Ate, so much for those advices about colorism, self-love, and confidence. Is there anything that you'd like to promote, Ate?
Yes, please. If you guys are into podcasts, we have a podcast called Camp Confidence Radio. It's all about self-love and entrepreneurship. I host it with my fellow entrepreneur, Madam Riza Lana Sebastian. And then if you want to support our efforts in hopefully challenging and eradicating colorism here in the Philippines, you can follow Morena the Label. And of course, our little baby brand, Kayu Beauty, is a makeup collection. So far, we have 6 lipstick shades. It's centered on making you feel like the best version of yourself, whether you're Kayu or whatever skin color you are. So yeah, thank you so much, Gia, for having me.
Thank you, Ate. Guys, yung personal favorite ko from Kayo Beauty are Clay With Me and Love You a Latte. Pero feeling ko best selling ate yung Love You a Latte, no?
Love You Latte is sold out.
Oh,
So get
sorry.
Play
Sorry,
with
guys.
me.
It's gonna be Clay with me. Those are my
Yeah,
first
play with me.
two personal favorites. So thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Ate.
much.
That's all there is to say about this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get updates about our guest for next week's stories and insights. Or you can also join our Facebook group, Stories About You and Me, a podcast by Two Chic. You can find the link in this episode's caption. I'll talk to you again next week. Bye!